Williams, one of the comments off the Seth Wickersham book was, there's nobody there watching film with me. So you tell me, when you're watching film as a quarterback, is it a solo endeavor? Are there coaches always there? You tell me.
What I found interesting about that comment isn't really about the coaches helping him. It says there was no veteran to help him. That's how you learn watching film, from veterans, from guys that have done it before. Yeah, your coaches can help you, but the coaches have to game plan. They have to meet on their own. And there are specific times when you do meet with them and they do work with you. But a lot of time when you watch film, quote unquote, like on your own, it's with a veteran when you're a young player. I mean, Jordan Gross was my mentor. I give him a shout out. He helped me learn how to watch film, how to lift, how to prepare, how to do all those things. And when you look at the depth chart last year of the Bears, there was no veteran. Like, that was a huge mistake of theirs, that they didn't have someone just there, not to compete with him for the job, but just there. Hey, man, here's how you prepare. Here's how you watch film. Here's how you watch a pressure tape. Here's how you watch a base defense tape. Here's what you do on Fridays. Here's how you prepare on Saturdays. And of course, Williams has to always do exactly what the veteran tells him to do, but it's a good sounding board. It's someone to talk to who's been through the battles of NFL season. There was no one there to do that with. So coupled with probably not understanding that coaches might not watch as much film with you as you'd like, is you have to find a different way to learn. And that's a way a lot of guys learn. And so that was surprising to me, that I guess I hadn't thought about that. Then I went and looked back at the depth chart, and there was no one there, no teammates to help him.
It's actually truly stunning how much the Chicago Bears dropped the ball there with that. It really is. I mean, to not have someone there to go through that process, I mean, man, at the bare minimum, it's so isolating to not have someone else there who can actually help you in that regard. And for those of you who don't know, like, listen, your coach can be a father figure to you. You can be so close to him, etc., etc. But that, first off, takes time to develop. And there is always this, like, little bit of a barrier or some distance between the coach and the players. And it's always different when you're with other players, because you're both players. Like, it's hard to really put into words, but you have other people talk about this who have been players and they become coaches, especially pretty early on in their career. You know, like it's not like 10 years later, like it's like they retire and then within like a year or two they're, you know, a special teams coach or, you know, whatever. And you see this in basketball too. It's like, it's just different. You're no longer a player. You're a coach. Like, it is just different. It's a different relationship. It's the dynamic shifts. And so, especially bringing in a young quarterback, a rookie, Caleb Williams, like, even if there was a coach there 24/7 with him, it's still different. It's still different. And we know, like, this is no longer new. It's funny because I don't remember when I actually realized this, but, like, you know, as I was growing up and watching sports and stuff like that and playing myself, and it's just like this idea of, like, hearing, like, oh, the importance of having veterans there, and, oh, this is what you need. And I would hear them say it on TV, whether it was like through the commentary of watching a game or shows like this, and it was just like, oh yeah, veterans, it's important. And, like, this is when I was, like, you know, a young kid. And then, you know, as I'm playing and going through my life and playing sports, it's like you realize you get to a new team, you get to a new you know, area, city, town, whatever, and the coach is there to help you, but you immediately look to the players. You immediately look to the other players there. I played for new teams, and I immediately look to the players to be, you're kind of like, what's the story here? What's to be expected? How do we react? How do we do these things? No matter how good you are, there's teams that I got to that I was clearly, you know, going to be a great player on that team. I was not bottom of the barrel, even became a leader, but I'm still looking to the other players to be like, what's the story here? Like, I need to get settled first. And then, like, maybe the year after that or later on in the season, like, I could be like, all right, like, now I'm comfortable in my role. I'm comfortable in my spot on this team. And there was just no comfort building. We can talk about, like, oh, if you're great, and these are men, and they're not men, quite frankly. Caleb Williams, at that point in his life, is not a man. He's a boy. It's just like, it's so funny how we always try to be like, oh, these are men, you know, time for him to grow up and this, and it's like, man, they're not. Like they are kids. You know, honestly, we got 35, 40-year-olds who are still kids. So like this whole idea that like once you're in the NFL, you're a pro, you're this or that, and you're just supposed to just like know these things immediately. Like it's kind of insane. It really, really is. And so building comfort for him alone and just to make him feel less isolated, because it is isolating. You do need a legitimate veteran there to like honestly, like this is not too strong of a word of an expression, to hold your hand. You need your hand held, especially when you're the number 1 overall pick and you're now going to be the starting quarterback. There's so much on your plate. There's so much on your plate. So I don't even care. I mean, I do care, but like I've already kind of talked about this before about breaking down the film, doing all that type of stuff. Yeah, you need to learn all of that too, but just having someone in your corner is already the bare minimum and absolutely crucial. Absolutely crucial just to have that guy there. And it doesn't have to be like a 30-year-old veteran there, man. Like it could be a Sam Darnold. It could be someone who's just been around, and they don't have to be great. They don't have to have this long established career. They just have to have some experience and some maturity and willingness. Like it's crazy. It really is. They could have gotten Joe Flacco. Would have been beautiful, perfect. Joe Flacco would have hit that out of the park. Go get Joe Flacco. He's not competing for your job. You let him know, hey man, this is why you're here. We need you to be a leader. We need you to be mature. Your job is to really take care of Caleb. And he would have done it. Pay him enough money. It's worth the money. You're paying someone who's now is a hybrid between a coach and a player. Someone who now also, someone like Caleb will be comfortable reaching out to. Because also, and I've talked about this months ago before all of this went downhill. I talked about how, especially in the beginning of someone's career, or when you're on a new team especially, but definitely early in your career, it's like you're not comfortable admitting when you don't understand something. All of these players who first get drafted and whatnot, it's like everyone is just kind of trying to pretend like they know everything, or that they've already had this experience, or that they're already good and great enough. And it really takes time for you to finally reach a level of comfort where you're willing to admit, I don't understand. I'm confused with this. I'm not comfortable doing this. In the very beginning, I can guarantee you that when a coach goes to Caleb and says, hey, I need you to do this, there's no way Caleb's going to be like, you know what? I'm just not really that comfortable with this. And it's fascinating because I recently found out that Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels had a conversation. And he was just like, you need to tell me exactly what you're comfortable doing and what you're uncomfortable doing. I need to know. And that's the source of it. I need to know. That's probably my 2 first questions. What are you comfortable doing and what are you uncomfortable doing? And if I'm a coach, I'm going to the player and I'm saying, and I need you to be honest with you. I'm not judging you. I don't care what it is. You could think that it's the dumbest thing ever, the most elementary. You could be embarrassed. I need to know. I need to know. And it's going to be, it's us. I'm here to help you. And the way how I help you is I need to know exactly what you're thinking. I need to know what you're comfortable, what you're uncomfortable. When you're confused, you just tell me, man, I don't care. Even if I told you 100 times already, even if you think I'm in a bad mood, whatever, you got to tell me. You got to tell me. What are you not getting? What are you confused by? I need to know that answer. If I don't know, I can't help you. You belong here. Trust me, you belong here. That's why you were drafted number 1. You were going to be great. You were going to be special. And step 1 of that is acknowledging what you don't know. So you got to tell me what's up. And it actually really reminds me of the actor, may he rest in peace, from oh my god, it just slipped my mind, from The Wire. Michael Kenneth Williams, great actor, fantastic actor, may he rest in peace. He has an awesome story where he talks about one of his first jobs he's ever had, acting. He just said, the whole time he was like trying to pretend like, oh, I'm an actor, I know what I'm doing, I know what's going on, I know what I'm doing. And then he said, like, I couldn't really grow until I admitted and I was willing to say, I don't know. Going to the director, going to other castmates and being like, I don't know, I'm confused, or I don't understand. And being able to admit that. And believe me, not all teams, not all jobs, not all professions, not all communities cultivate that environment. I've worked in jobs, I've done other stuff, I've been on teams where you couldn't admit what you didn't know or what you were uncomfortable in. I had coach where it was like, I felt like if I admitted I was uncomfortable in a certain situation, it was like, well, I'm done. I'm not starting. I'm done. It's like my season's over. My career is over. He's not going to care about it. It's like, can't admit it. I was just constantly nodding your head. Do you understand? It's like, yep. Do you understand? Yep. Are you comfortable doing this? Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can never admit it. And it's just, there's no growth can take place. None. And it's hard to play when you're uncomfortable. So when I hear stuff like this, it actually really triggers me and drives me insane because it's the bare minimum. It's the bare minimum. And even little things when you actually have a true seasoned veteran there to help you out. It is something where you talk to Joe and you're like, I don't know, man. In the middle of the game, I just, for whatever reason, X, Y, and Z always happens and I don't understand. And then that's also now something what a good coach will be is like, well, talk to the seasoned veteran, like, what's he saying? What are some of the things? Again, it's a bridge until you truly develop that relationship, right? Andy Reid and Mahomes, they now have that deep relationship. Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels were able to get there very quickly because the time was put in there with smart, intelligent, grounded coaching. And it is one of the benefit of having younger coaches, especially a younger offensive-minded coach whose job is almost always, how do we maximize this quarterback, who almost always is going to be on the younger side. Defense, it's a lot different, which is why it's like my school of thought is kind of like love the old school, older, seasoned, hardened, veteran defensive coaches, and I love a little bit of the younger, more new age type offensive coaches. But, obviously both sides, you can take it to the extreme. But I just see stuff like this, and it's just like you put Caleb Williams on an island. Think about even when Caleb Williams has a rough game, the sheer fact that there's not now a true established just a Joe Flacco to talk to. We saw it even with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, he wanted to play. He wanted to start. He was shoulder to shoulder with Penix when he got benched and was helping him. Penix throws an interception and he goes running to him. And it's kind of like, bro, I just threw like 12 interceptions, which now is why you got to start. So, like, it's okay. You got 11 more interceptions before anyone thinks about benching you again. Don't worry. It's like you need little things like that, man. You need it. You're making everything harder. Your job is to make everything easier. Greg Cosell said it best. The job of any offensive coordinator is to simplify and make the offense easier for the quarterback, no matter who you are, whether you're Caleb Williams, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Your job is to make everything easier and simplified. It's not to say, hey, this is really complicated. You're supposed to be great. Go do it. It's not how it works. That's not how it works. So this stuff just, again, I'll say it again, it drives me crazy. Absolutely drives me crazy. Because it's embarrassing. And now, this season, what do? They signed 37-year-old, deeply experienced Case Keenum. Perfect. And they did it. Free agency started, a couple weeks into it, boom, got him. That's a smart move. That's what you should have done last year. So no one's going to be calling for Case Keenum to start or, anything like that. There's no quarterback controversy. And yet it's going to be an awesome bridge between him, Ben Johnson, et cetera, someone to help mentor. Experience matters, man. Experience matters so much, and it is something that I see so many fans, a lot of fans just really underestimate the importance of experience, veterans, coaching in general. Like I see so many people in the comment section make fun of like the Dan Orlovskis of the world and whatnot. They're, what has he done? He was a backup, he stepped out of the end zone. And it's like, dude, a quarterback like that has such a depth of experience and knowledge that there's so, yeah, you're right. A 23-year-old, 24-year-old, first overall pick definitely has more talent than a Dan Orlovsky. Definitely, is good, is outside of him being a bust, is going to have a better career, et cetera. But you can't underestimate and downplay just the wealth of knowledge and information that someone like a Case Keenum, Dan Orlovsky, etc., have to offer these players. And it's crucial. It's really, really crucial. And so I'm still dumbfounded by what the Chicago Bears did, and it's all the more reason why to think that this team and Caleb, it's about to be a double bounce on a trampoline, man. It's about to go high. So look out. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Chicago Bears? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. I don't know what that was. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.